Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and your hair smells nice today. It smells like strawberries. But do me a favor and hit that like button or you'll make Santa cry. And right before his birthday, too. The disrespect. But it's time to talk about the Civivi Zizzle. I put way too much sauce on that. But let's take a look at what we're holding because it'll bother you if I don't, and you know I love you. So first things first and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got black G10 on this bad boy. We got a flipper tab, so let's flick the bean. And we got about 3 inches of D2 steel. Now that that's out of the way, this is part of the knife set that came from Walmart, and it is part of the 3-piece Kinfei combo kit. So the misprint right here has been generating more hype than the knife itself in a lot of cases, which I find hilarious. Somebody said, hang on to your box, it's going to be a collector's item with that misprint, but Walmart did this before they sent it to me. This is some eBay Pitney Bowes stuff right here, especially if it's got to go through customs. Man, I would think that maybe someone was cutting through the case and went through the top of the box on accident, but that should have gone through the corners here too. Should have. But I've also seen instances where management's like, we're not letting them return this, so go ahead and cut the box so they can't return it. I don't think that's the case, but I don't know. I really don't know. All that matters is I got what I wanted out of it. I got the knife. And this is the Civivi Zizzle. I wish I would have named it something else that's easier to pronounce without a lisp. I have a slight lisp because I have got 9 teeth left. They got removed due to bad genetics and poor maintenance. So here we are, a little bit of a peek up under the skirt for you. But we got the knife, we got the lanyard, and we got the spoon/multi-tool. I've never freebased while I had to remove small hex head bolts, so I had to think of a use case for the spoon. My best guess for this thing for the average day-to-day user that doesn't spend a ton of time in the wilderness or a ton of time camping, you know, your concrete cowboy like myself, is if you happen to be handed food through a window and they forget to give you utensils, this could come in clutch and save your experience and be, you know, it would save you a lot of inconvenience of having to drive back. I get bit by that once in a while. I have had that happen, and I have specific instances I can remember where I was like, I wish I would have had this. So there is a use case scenario. It just took me a while to think of one. This thing is much better now. The lanyard right here, I do want to talk about this. So you guys that have been here for a minute know that I love a good lanyard. I do make my own lanyard beads. I enjoy them quite a bit. I need to make more of them. But this thing right here, it looked cool. It looked cool, and I don't know how to tie off lanyards like this, so this right here was attractive to me. But in practical use, this thing is far too lengthy and far too dangly. Ha ha! Dangly parts. Props if you get that reference. But, you know, with this thing wrapped around the lanyard post, you still got this much hanging out. And with this much space right here, this can easily get caught on your blade when you're trying to open it and stop it from opening, and it's a hell of an inconvenience. I learned that the hard way. Like when my first lanyard beads were made, they were a lot longer like that, and now I prefer them kept in tight like this, because like this one was real bad about it. The lanyard would swing over and the loop would hit right here and stop it from opening, and it drove me nuts. It really did. And this is my Civivi Bull Mastiff. This is one of my favorite knives I've ever bought, hands down. So like I prefer them shorter. This thing was just in the way constantly. It looked fairly cool hanging out of the pocket, but it was in the way constantly. I think a better use case for this is hanging it off the zipper of a bag and having it there. Just, you know, fast access for a zipper, and it marks which zipper to pull when you want to open it. I think that's a way better use of this thing. You know, and I will say, these things probably cost next to nothing to make, but they were absolutely brilliant on Civivi's part. Absolutely brilliant. You know, if you're a knife guy and you spot that, you're kind of into knives, but not like a lot of us are, where we're like, this is a full-blown hobby, and you see that, you're like, that looks good, especially at the price, $25. $25 is pretty much the perfect price point for the knife by itself. You throw this in there and suddenly it looks a lot more attractive. Or if you're out shopping for a friend or a family member that's into knives and you don't necessarily know what to go for, I think throwing these in here and making it so much more attractive to people that aren't super into knives yet was a brilliant move. Absolutely brilliant. So these things do have some use. It's not quite what you think it'd be, but they are some added value, and I think it was brilliant on Civivi's part. They didn't have to include those to sell this at 25 bucks. However, to non-knife people, oh, that makes it a gimme. So, that's the spoon and the lanyard out of the way. Let's talk about the knife itself. So, let's flick the bean again. You got your 3-inch blade right here and the black G10. And, in the pocket carrying this thing, it was quite good. It didn't take up that much real estate, and, for trying to get keys out of my pocket and stuff like that, it wasn't really any worse than other knives. Wasn't that much better than any other knives, but I've had knives that were really bad about making it hard to get stuff out of the pocket. This didn't really do that. The black G10 here did not pick up a ton of brass from my keys, which is a bit unusual, but I'll take the W. The action on it is fairly smooth. It's on washers and it's fairly tight, but it's not bad. It's a smooth action, just a little bit tight. You could probably tune the pivot and lubricate it and get it right where you want it. I'm not going to back the pivot screw out any for something that's that minor of an issue. I'd probably put a couple drops of lubricant on there and see if that does it before you do anything else. The liner lock is designed well. There's good access to it. The pocket clip is on the strong side. Not a bad thing, but unexpected. Like, the pocket clip is really strong, and that's why I love Civivi's build quality. Let's see. Like, for this long of a pocket clip on the Bull Mastiff and the Dingus N being down here, that is still a really strong pull on that pocket clip. Normally longer pocket clips like this tend to be really, really easy to bend out of shape. This thing is better than most for that length of pocket clip, especially with it being hollowed out like this and everything else. I love Civivi's build quality, and so this thing gripped really hard. And trying to put it in the pocket, I'd have to put it in there and then push a second time because I'm used to these things being about 70% this strong. Again, the exact opposite of a problem. It held on tight and was not moving. So I think for, 25 bucks, you're getting Civivi's build quality. If memory serves, and I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but this is like Civivi's first foray into something as inexpensive as $25 and their first foray into D2. And I personally happen to like D2 quite a bit. It gives you a good knife and keeps the price down low enough that guys like you and me can afford this. It does really good. Most of the complaints I see about D2 are either rust and corrosion, which I haven't seen on mine, and I should have. I lost my air conditioning for a month back in like August. It got so humid that mildew showed up on some shoes that I had in the war room, and my books that I have on my PlayStation 2, Sega Saturn, and Dreamcast games. I've got to clean those off. You'd think the D2 would have corroded or something, but not really. I had one bathing in sweat for 3 days when I went to work on 101-degree fever. No signs of corrosion or rust. So I think you'd have to be living in a pretty nasty area, like right on the shoreline of a large salty body of water before you saw those issues, and at which point, yes, that would be annoying. So I like D2. And like I said, getting this in D2 for 25 bucks, fantastic. The plastic on the pallets, it cut that quite well. No problems there. I fed it some cardboard, and it cut like a hollow grind into a flat like this does. A little bit more pressure than a full flat, which I prefer, but it still did a good job. Let's take a look at our edge quality and see what we got there. Still very, very, very nice. And because we have it, we'll get out the edge tester that you guys were kind enough to supply. And by the way, if you guys wonder whether or not the donations, the super chats, the memberships, and all that go back into the channel, I did go and buy 2 more bags of clips because you guys donated specifically and asked me specifically to buy more clips. Y'all made it possible, and I did exactly what you said you wanted me to do with it. So let's get a test clip out. I forget what it was. I think it was in the 250s at the beginning of the week. So let's see what we got here. $259. So yeah, it's a good solid edge. It's right in line with the rest of the factory edges that I've seen on most things. It cuts very well. It does everything we need it to. Cardboard Slayer will be fun with this thing. Just seeing how Civivi's heat treatment on their D2 holds up. I suspect it's going to be just fine. I suspect we're going to get our usual D2 performance, and when we sharpen it back up and put it on the 17 degree that D2 seems to like quite a bit, it's going to be phenomenal. So, I think that's all the things that I wanted to say about this thing, all the thoughts that I could possibly articulate right now. That's a $5 word. But all that being said, Thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We do have live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Remember to hit that like button. It helps more than you realize. Comments, I love some feedback. If you have one of these, let us know what you think about it or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.